Morning everyone, or it's afternoon I think now. Welcome to All Four Queens. I'm sorry, I've got Ascension flu and I'm feeling it a little bit today, but I'm still going to keep going. So hope everybody's well, and you just have to excuse me blowing my nose and getting on with it. But I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you've done your spiritual practice. I've just mopped the floor. I'm going to do a bit of cleansing. I did put an incense stick on, so I'm going to do a bit of cleansing, and then I'm going to go and do some prayer and stuff. I did some this morning. I did a bit of purging this morning, and today's session, obviously this is a spiritual channel. If you're new to my channel, then I talk about all things spiritual warfare, healing and awakening, but obviously, you know, I'm in the eye of the storm like most people. I think there's a bit of a phenomenon going on at the minute where we're all in the bit of the planetary shift. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but obviously, as you've seen some of my recordings where destinies have been swapped and changed and stolen, and obviously the spiritual realm are trying to bring justice for the injustices that have been done. So obviously that has obviously opened up a load of can of worms for a lot of people that were benefiting off it. You know, families after families after families. So but I'll probably do a separate one on that as more things transpire, you know. And I always said that it was never a secret, it was just things that we knew. But obviously, how do you explain to the 3D that people are stealing from you in the 5D when everybody in the 3D is adamant to try and get you locked up in some way to keep their secret? So obviously you have to, you know, you pick your battles, don't you? And obviously you take guidance from those of above. I take guidance from my ancestors, my angels, you know, God and Jesus of the light, who walk with me and have walked with me all my life, because they've seen the injustices that people have done. And obviously, you know, 2024 was the year of infinity when it was all going to change. So, and obviously there's a mass shift, isn't there, in terms of, if you look at the world and you look at what I talk about in Revelations, you know, things are being swept up and cleaned up because there's a lot of dark magic that's been done, and the world needs to be clear of it. So why am I here today? So today I wanted to just share something that I was watching yesterday, and whoever's in my internet, they were watching it as well. So TJ Blake's I posted on the one about the prayer and the scripture, and I hope people got some comfort from that. And the TJ Blakes that I watched, it popped up in my synchronicities, and we talk about, like, you know, when things pop up, they pop up for a reason. So it's usually like to give you a message or comfort or something. So anyway, I was watching TJ Blake's yesterday to get a bit of uplifting, as you do, and I just wanted to share with everybody because I think it's pertinent to all the light workers out there that are doing a phenomenal job, you know, from readers to psychics to mediums to Reiki to all types of healing. I can't name them all, but for everybody that's out there, and you know your journey, and you know how challenging it's been for people to want to try and put roadblocks and blockages in your way because they don't want people healed. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to just share this one with you, because it was quite an eye-opener for me. You know, I've said, you know, the community has changed, and you know, things going on in there, and he sort of basically, sometimes I always think that God doesn't always operate through scripture. I mean, he does, but there's many a time where I've asked questions and I've gone into prayer and I've come out of prayer and I've then gone out and done my thing, what I have to do in normal life and stuff. I mean, obviously it's a little bit restricted now because we're in solitude, but that's for a reason, and I get that. So there was a particular time when I got in a taxi because I dropped the car off to get it serviced, and I was talking to the taxi driver, and you know, the conversation was so enlightening because it was the conversation that I'd had in my prayers, and it was as though I was talking to an angel, because I was just having that conversation. So why am I saying that is, never ignore anything that happens, because everything happens for a reason. And sometimes they do body jump, you know, people are shapeshifters, and so they do body jump. And it was just so poignant that happened when it happened, because it did lift me. And then yesterday, TJ Blake's, now obviously whatever you think about TJ Blake's, that's your personal view, but I mean, me personally, what I got out of yesterday was quite poignant for me, and I hope you'll get something out of it too. You know, this channel is about choices, but I'm also, you know, here to share and hope that I can help the collective as much as I can help those that are not a healer but want to get on a journey. So when I talked about the community and the people that have changed in the community, he was quite interesting. He said that obviously the devil knows when your blessings coming way before you do. So obviously that was point one. And then he said that he can't affect you because touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. They can give you distractions and they can try and derail you, and they can try and do all the things that, you know, are outside. You know, me being followed, for instance. Every time I get in my car, I'm followed everywhere. I went somewhere to a hotel and I was followed, and the people in the hotel were up and down the corridor and they were in and out of each other's rooms, and you know, they were just, it was just uncomfortable, and I left because I knew why they were there. And I watched the man, you know, certain people turn up with their little medicine bags type thing, you know, and prior to that I probably couldn't say anything because people would have thought that I was leaning into the narrative that everybody wants. But we all know that the practitioners, and we all know what they're doing, you know what I mean? It's no secret. It's just that they choose to operate in the dark and not be honest. So anyway, so there was that, and then he talked about the wheat and the weeds. And I encourage anybody that is looking for a bit of comfort and a bit of uplifting, you know, to watch it. And it was called Everything Happens. Everything happens in timing. Everything happens in the right time, or something like that. Anyway, but anyway, if you go onto his channel, you'll see it on there. But I just wanted to share it because I just thought, you know, it was quite poignant for me, because it's not that, you know, we all know, and I said on the recording the other day, I can feel this like intense anxiety, and maybe I'm purging more to transmute because I can feel so much energy from other people, because it's like there's this big tower gonna hit, and I can feel it. I can feel it, and I know it is, because you know, you can only lie so much, and you can only deceive so much, and you can only manipulate so much until some other people take place and they don't fall for it. And you know, that's life, isn't it? You know what I mean? You can't continue, and it just remains the same. I used to say to my team at work, when they grumble about things changing in the workplace, I'd say, well, has your life changed in the last 10 years? And they'd say, well, yeah, you know, I got married, I've had children, and I'm like, well, why would anything not change then? And I think that's the same for what we're all going through now in terms of the shift, because I can feel it, and I'm sure that if you're in tune to energy, you can feel it as well. And then the other thing that I find quite interesting is, obviously, you know, I posted about all the you know, on the tarot, the death stuff. Now, you know, the death card is about transformation as well. It's not just about death, you know, but obviously people putting stuff around your house, I think there's a bit of a different intention there, isn't there? And it could be about ending things that are in your life, you know, your work and stuff, because obviously, you know, blocking my phones, blocking my emails, deleting stuff, you know, they've created the narrative opposed to allowing whatever they set out their intentions to do. So you could argue whatever magic, and I'll put it in question marks, they used, was it actually that, or was it the fact that they've just used bullying tactics and they've used people who have the position of power to do it? I would say the latter, really, because obviously, you know, they've made it difficult. And obviously going through my contacts and getting all my contacts and then contacting them and then creating something in their life, you know, it was a bit silly, really. But why am I saying that? Because if you look at the wheat and the weeds, it's quite interesting, that how he explains it. And you know, closing out cycles and being a generational curse breaker has probably been one of my toughest generational curses to break this time round. And obviously, because of the nefarious things that people have done, that obviously, you know, we are aware of in spirit, but obviously, you know, like I say, I tell the 3D that, you know, it's only the evidential stuff that they're interested in. But I do believe that there are some, I do believe that, and I stand in this, I do believe that there are some good people out there that have taken an oath to serve and protect, and have stepped into the world of spirituality, and have stepped into the world of tarot, and have stepped into the world of psychic investigations, because I do believe moving forward in the future that's going to be more needed. I really do. You know, I think, you know, and as I say, change, you can't stay doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. You know, Albert Einstein says that. So as we transition into a shift in consciousness, we will have to have a more of an opening about spirituality, about our spirit, because we are spirit, you know, and some people choose to tap in and some people don't. And I think with the energy, you're gonna have to at some point get on board. And then there are those that stay in the dark, dense energy, and it's whether or not they'll be able to take more light. But that's a different one for a different day. But in terms of the authorities and things like that, I think they are starting to see that, you know, you've got to look under the rug. And looking under the rug, you've got to look at other ways that people do things. And it's not just what you see. There are things that you don't see that are happening as well, and are happening to people. And for me, you know, definitely check it out. And obviously the closing of cycles as well means setting stronger boundaries. And people don't like boundaries. But for me, they're so important because they protect you. Now, I think, you know, the closing out of cycles as well is about learning the lessons, and the setting of boundaries, the do's and the don'ts. But for me, you know, I've got a stalker as well, or many stalkers. Sometimes you don't know what people are like until you walk away. And I always knew that there were certain things in my life that were going to be the challenge when I walked away, because, and you know, we don't talk about the vest, we don't talk about the person, we talk about the energy and what they carry. And I know that, you know, lifetime after lifetime, I've had certain energies follow me through certain portals, and this time, you know, with the support of the divine, and I genuinely mean that, with the support of my ancestors and my angels. And if you remember, I said I was actually physically lifted out of a situation, and I really truly believe I was. I was so grateful for that particular moment in time, because I physically felt myself being lifted out of a situation that, you know, I didn't need to be in. So for me, and that's because I'm in tune, isn't it? But, you know, and hopefully we can get other people there as well, and know that you're protected on both the physical and the spiritual if you can get, you know, more attuned to your ancestors, because your ancestors are your angels as well. You know, they're your guiding light, aren't they? And that's why, you know, you give gratitude to them every day, because, you know, we wouldn't be here without them, would we? So yeah, so for me, I was just sort of like in reflection about it, and I just thought I wanted to put it out there because I do think it would be good for people to watch it if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration and a bit of, you know, oomph to keep going, because it is interesting the way he explains it, and he explains it far greater than I do. You know, he's got 48 years, hasn't he? So, but yeah, watch it, because it is interesting how they corrupt your environment. And I said this on an earlier one, they'll corrupt your environment and they'll just try and create discomfort more than anything. But obviously, you know, I've got 52 years of patience is a virtue. You know what I mean? I've known a lot of stuff, but because you get gaslit and there's a lot of manipulation and people are desperate to get you in some sort of institution and you have to pick your battles. So, you know, 52 years of patience is a virtue is a long time, so I'm pretty much I'm well versed in that. I think, and I think a lot of other people are as well. So, you know, but all I just wanted to say is just keep going, and you know, just be true to yourself. You know, the truth always sets us free, doesn't it? And the truth will always prevail over any sort of darkness. And we all know that those of us that got the memo in 2020, pretty much, you know, you read between the lines of what 2020 was, but most of us have got the clear memo in 2020 and started doing the work and went through the dark night of the soul again, and came out of it. You pretty much knew what 2024 was going to be about, and like, no one wants change, do they? You know, we embraced it, but there are some that are going to fight it. You know, and we're not fighting the flesh, sometimes it's the principalities as well, you know, the rulers of darkness, isn't it? So, and that's obviously, and I'll put the scripture in there as well, because obviously it's important that we all make sure that we're clear on that. So yeah, so I just thought I'd, and that's why, you know, I'm rambling a little bit here, but I'm going off P a little bit, but that's why for me personally. You know, faith without deed is one thing, but for me, faith without scripture is something else. So whilst I've said that I'm not putting religion, because obviously from some of the things that I've seen, you know, they don't necessarily say they're the church of darkness. I'm just going to refer to the Bible as I interpret the Bible. But I think that, you know, for me, when you're stepping into spirituality, you have to sort of have some sort of faith. And, you know, scripture for me gives guidance more than anything. When I'm praying and I need some sort of guidance, I get it. And obviously, you know, your synchronicities as well. But obviously I've got people in my system who are obviously obsessed with what I'm watching and what I'm doing. And I hope, you know, and I'm saying this, I hope you learn something. I hope you take something from it. I'm not sure you will, but I hope you do. Because, you know, we're all on a journey, aren't we? Anyway, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. I hope this makes sense a little bit for those that need a little bit of comfort. Definitely check out TJ Blake's. And obviously, definitely, you know, everything happens in timing. You know, timing is everything, I think it's called. I'm not sure, but I'll put it in there. I'll put it in the description thing anyway for everyone. So, and then the wheat and the weeds, and then they corrupt your environment as well. So, you know, be mindful. All right, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Sending much love, peace, harmony, and healing for everyone that needs it. And I hope that, you know, you have a good day today, and just keep going and keep raising your vibration as much as you can. I've been putting on old music, you know, 90s, bit of Madonna, a bit of this, bit of that, just to get a bit of dancing going. But you know, you do what works for you. And I'll see you on the next one. See you later. Bye.